This program is supported by San Juan Health Partners Urology, providing a wide range of personalized services for the whole family, including children. Our caring professionals are dedicated to helping meet your urology health needs with skill, experience, and service you need. For a complete listing of our services and to learn more, visit sanjuanhealthpartners.com or call 505-609-6300. San Juan Health Partners Urology, a division of San Juan Regional Medical Center. Eleven minutes past 8 o'clock. It is Tuesday morning, October 16th. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to KSJE 90.9 FM and 90.9 HD. And good morning to our viewers who are watching this morning on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. And as I look, my camera is way the heck over there. Let me put it over there and fix it just like that. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Scott Michlin. Coming up in just a moment, my guest today from the Aztec School District, Superintendent Kirk Carpenter, is here. Also, Deputy Superintendent Tania Prokop. We'll be talking with them in just a moment. Also, later on this hour, as we do every Tuesday, we will be talking to folks over at the Farmington Regional Animal Shelter. And if you're watching us live this morning, you'll see the animals that we are talking about today around 8:55. Mick Hess will be taking over the studio at 9 a.m. That's Roving with the Arts, of course. Today, it's music from this gentleman, Bach. And he is playing some Bach cantatas for us on Roving with the Arts today at 9 on KSJE. You can always check out our programming schedule, of course, by going to our website. That's at ksje.com. It's also where you'll find our regional events calendar, and folks who are watching us live can see our regional events calendar. A few events I want to pass along to you. Writing Our Lives, Memoirs, and More is a class taking place here at the San Juan College Community Learning Center. The Beyond Words exhibit continuing at the San Juan College Henderson Fine Arts Center Gallery. Freedom from Smoking class taking place today at San Juan Regional Medical Center. And, of course, tomorrow, we just passed it there, the Focus on Farmington Coffee event. You can find out more details on our website at ksje.com. Well, now let me turn to my guests who are here with us this morning from the Aztec School District. As I mentioned, Superintendent Kirk Carpenter is back with us. Mr. Carpenter, good morning.
Good morning, Scott.
Thank you for being here.
Absolutely, always a pleasure.
Thanks for coming in. Also, Deputy Superintendent Tania Prokop is here. Good morning.
Good morning, Scott.
Welcome back to KSJE, and I think this is the first time the two of you have been together in our new visual radio studio.
Absolutely. You'd think you'd have some technology that we could seem like we're here together, even
right.
though if one of us has to be back at the
You're
ranch.
just too busy, though. Some of you are always like out of town or doing school things.
Shame
instead
on
of being
us.
here, but that's okay. I'm glad that you're both here together this morning, so thank you both very much. I want to talk about a couple of things that are coming up. One news item that I wanted to pass along to our listeners and viewers this morning is that the Aztec Police Department is doing a debriefing tonight on the incident that happened at Aztec High School last December, and that is going to be part of the annual or the regular Coffee with the Chief event. It's happening tonight at 6 p.m. at the City Council chambers there at Aztec City Hall, and so that is something that I wanted to mention. You all are also going to be having a similar type of debriefing, I guess, for some of your staff coming up. Is that true?
We are. A lot of the information really just became available. I mean, they had to finish their reports. And
this is the police investigation that had been ongoing, and now that everything seems to be wrapped up and it can now be released, is what you're saying.
It is.
Yeah.
It took several agencies to get all the information finished, and we just shared it and actually had the Sheriff's Department share it with some of our administrators, school board, and other officials. So we are going to have that information be available for the high school staff and probably other district staff. But we wanted to make sure that we were ready for that, and we'll have the Sheriff's Department probably help with that. So we'll be getting that scheduled. It'll be optional for our high school staff. Will probably be important for some of them to put closure, or at least help with the healing, whether it's closure or not. But we want to be very purposeful in when we're doing that. What information, how much information we're sharing as well. Obviously, some of the information on there could be very disturbing. So we want to make sure that we look at what specifically we want to share, how we share it, plan to make sure we have people there to support them if they need it. Obviously, again, we're absolutely moving forward. But we also, in doing that, want to make sure that we support staff, and part of that support is making sure they understand all the specifics that as much as possible. And at the same time, be sensitive as much as possible.
Sure.
So you have to plan these things. You just don't say, okay, the information's ready, it's available, bring staff in. If they want to come in and it's important for them, we want to support that. But in supporting them means also having other people there to support them if they need to step out, have mental health specialists there. I would imagine we'll probably even have the therapy dogs there that day. Again, there's no textbook on this, but I think what is important for them is to understand as many of the specifics as they can about that day, and we're not holding it from them. But again, last week was the first time a lot of administrators were able to see it. But we know what happened. The heroes are still the heroes.
Right.
That being Casey and Paco, and nothing changes that. Nothing
Sure.
ever will. However, it gets into the very minute details of every little thing and the timelines, and so for some staff they need that. For some staff they don't. And so again, I think, Scott, what we're trying to do is just honor everybody's needs, everybody's healing venture and journey, and so that's what we will do. And with the chief doing his thing, I think he's trying to do something with he has coffee with the community, I think
Right.
he calls it, and that is a step as well. I think for ours it'll take probably an hour and a half or so to go through the actual things we need to as staff, because with the high school staff it needs to be much more personal, and that won't be open. That'll be something that's closed for the high school staff, and for rightfully so. With that staff, it was such a huge tragedy for them, and that's a family meeting, and it needs to be. And so with them, there'll be probably even more detail than I know that the chief will probably be sharing for the right reasons.
Sure.
And so with the level of detail that needs to be shared, we will probably bring in the detective that completed a lot of the investigation, because he understands that level of detail, and they need to present it. I mean, I sat through 3 presentations last week because I wanted to be there if there were questions asked, to understand the types of questions. And, we commend all the first responders and then all the investigators that completed everything and the job they had to do. It wasn't easy. It doesn't get easier, but it's important. And like I said, it's important for the healing. But everybody has a different type of healing. Some need it, some don't. Some
Right.
need to go to it, and some don't. So we honor that.
Sure. And again, it is part of moving forward, as you said, also part of remembering the heroes of that day and their stories, and again, being transparent in this investigation, and as things get wrapped up, to
Yes.
let the community know that this was just an isolated thing and tragedy that happened on that date.
Yep, absolutely, because it's about the community. This community has absolutely been tremendous in helping us. It affected the community. It affected the state. And so absolutely transparency is key, and it's paramount, because there are a lot of things that we're doing that we need to do as a community. There are a lot of changes that we need to make, and it's all of us. Safety at schools, churches, everywhere. It's not up to just those people at those places. Community safety, it's about all of us. And I think this incident, again, we can't change what happened. We have a lot of control on how we do things moving forward. And through this incident, if there are things to be learned, which there are, then one way to do that is after the event, after the incident, is looking at those things and all of us getting better. And we owe that. We owe that to everybody. We owe that to Casey and Paco. Their legacy is up to us to move forward, to make things better for schools, for our community. And so through this incident and looking at some of the things, that's what we need to do. And that's everybody.
Right. Tania Prokop, let me talk to you a little bit about from a human resources perspective and for employees who may have questions still about that day. Maybe they weren't at the high school, but maybe at a different school, and so they maybe would like to know more or more details or feel they want to know more about what happened at that day. Is this part of just being transparent and providing employees with as much information as they care to learn about that incident?
You know, I think there's a lot involved. There's just the personal need, and that need is very different. It happened in December, and here we are today in October. And so people are at different places, and it's really about what they need. Maybe there are individuals who don't need to know the details, and they are in a certain path in their journey, and that's not important anymore, and they're moving forward. Others maybe can't move forward unless they do know some of the other details or have an opportunity in a safe environment to ask questions. And I know that I've been doing substitute teacher trainings, and I've also done staff induction. And part of that is making sure that everybody knows what happened on December 7th. In a safe environment, people need to know that are coming into our organization because, as I've told them, they're part of our healing now. And they need to know our story. They need to know the facts. They need to know it in a safe environment where they can ask any kind of question and there's no judgment or anything. So that's what folks coming into our organization need. I can't even imagine what folks within our organization need. It varies.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And that's okay.
Right.
It's about honest communication and being able to feel comfortable of, I think I want to see this, I'm going to put myself out there, but it's okay if, okay, that's enough, that's not what I need, or I need more. I need some questions answered. And it's all about, like Kirk said, it's all about family. And it's creating that safe environment where there's no judgment or anything. You come and you go and you get what you need.
Right. And that's what's being planned for your staff.
Right.
And it does take planning,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's a lot of different personalities. It's not something that we can just all of a sudden put together. Because folks are different, because healing is so important and personal, we really have to be mindful when we go forward with this.
Very true. Well, good luck to you both and to the staff and administration at Aztec Schools. I know, again, it's part of moving forward, as you said. It's
Absolutely.
part of being transparent with the community and with your staff, and it is just one of those steps in the process.
It is.
I would say.
Thank you.
Let me ask you a little bit about enrollment here in the minutes we have before we take a break here at the bottom of the hour. Last time you were here, Mr. Carpenter, enrollment numbers were a little challenging, to say the least.
They were.
How do things look today?
Well, looking at them, they weren't they aren't as bleak, I should say, as we thought. They're about 83 down.
Okay.
We originally thought we were going to be over 100. But, over the last 2 years, we're close to 200 students down, which is considerable and very, concerning.
Mm-hmm.
And what's difficult is to understand where they're going. We know most of the districts up here are down. Farmington's up a little bit. But we don't really feel like students are leaving us, moving to other districts. I just think they're moving out for work.
Right.
And,
Well, we certainly have seen that in this
yeah.
community, in this county, sure.
So, but we just are going to have to watch them, and the 40th day is one day. The important count days are 80 and 120, but absolutely very concerning, and we're just going to have to watch it as we build budgets in the spring. But we can't change it.
Right.
We just have to plan and start planning right now. I think when we do our budget in the spring, it's I always say this, we get one budget done and we start planning for the next year, and that's what we're doing. And so there's a lot, I think, this year. There's a lot of anxiousness with the upcoming election and some of the changes there, the cabinet secretary position and all of that. The revenue coming in is at an all-time high. So there's a lot of those things that could be beneficial, but obviously losing students, that's our main revenue. And so we're just going to have to be very careful, which we are doing as we speak. We're trying to look at open positions. We want to fill them, but we're also, in the same breath, not posting some at this point, and going to have to make some probably mid-year changes with some things just because we are in that position, and we will always put teachers in classrooms if we can, but that's getting tough to fill. So that's where we're at this point.
Okay. But not as bad as it was last time we spoke, you and I.
No, and even from 124 to 83, I'm not a mathematician, but that's probably close to probably a couple $100,000 difference. So
sure.
That saves a lot of anxiety moving forward, and we'll just watch it. But again, 80, 120 are our key days, and I know that when we talk about those, we'll probably be talking about more students, unfortunately. But it's just disheartening that we're losing kids and families because they're having to move. But hopefully things will turn around, and we'll see what happens.
Right, and I know there are a lot of population experts that probably are watching some of these trends around. And we've seen it in San Juan County with the economy and the job market, and that's just kind of what drives families to and from communities. If they can't find work, they hang on for as long as they can, or maybe the breadwinner moves out of town to get work and leaves the family behind with the children, but eventually they all want to be together again, and that may be what we're seeing, or maybe changing as the job market and the oil and gas patch starts to rebound a little bit. I think we're seeing that may bring some folks back. Who knows?
Yeah, and we are hearing there's more permitting going on with some drilling and stuff that will happen after the first of the year. So we are optimistic that maybe we'll see some of those families come back for everybody, not just us.
Right.
Because there are other districts that have lost considerably more students than us. So that's important for our whole county, not just schools, but obviously gross receipts taxes and income to all the counties. So hopefully that will change.
Very true. You mentioned the state, and I want to ask you that briefly because we have another legislative session coming up. Of course, there's reports again about another increase in the amount of new revenue that is coming into the state. A lot of that, again, because of the oil industry specifically in southeast New Mexico, but they're talking $2 billion in new revenue this year, which certainly, hopefully some of that will find its way to school districts, I would hope.
I would think so, and I think there's a lot of other agencies and other places it should find its way. And then, of course, there's a lawsuit that the schools won with sufficiency, but that's not going to be something I think that comes to districts for a while.
But that lawsuit is specifically about school funding.
It is, and it's about sufficiency, but it's been appealed. So you would think, it'd be another good year for education and other agencies. It has to be, but there's also the concerns about filling the reserves back for the state, which is important. There's also a lot of talk about building rainy day funds so that the state legislature doesn't come back in and claw back money from school districts with cash balances. So there's a lot of those kinds of conversations happening, and rightfully so. But it absolutely should not be a bad year for schools. I would hope that and be optimistic that there would be another raise for teachers and school officials and people that need them. But we'll see. I know both governors that are running, or the governors-to-be, I should say, want to improve education, but also want to put more funding into education. And so we're optimistic about that as well. And like I said, losing students and revenue, some of the things that may be helpful is the fact that we could see higher unit values and some of those things to offset some of that loss. So if there's ever a time that you are in a situation like many districts are with less students, because prior year funding determines your next year funding, this may be the time. But we'll wait and see. But there's definitely a positive outcome with the amount of revenue that's being generated in the state right now. It's absolutely like, if it's not an all-time high, which I think it is, it's way up there.
Right. Well, always a realistic observation from you, Mr. Carpenter, and I will go clean off my rose-colored glasses during the break here in just a moment. But thank you for putting that in perspective for us all. My guest this morning from the Aztec School District, Superintendent Kirk Carpenter, is here, Deputy Superintendent Tania Prokop, and we are going to take a short break, everyone. More with my guests when we come back in just a moment right here on KSJE. The time is 8:30.